A Milford family grief-stricken tonight as they deal with the death of a newborn. Family says the baby died after an accident involving their dog. Now, we must warn you, this story may upset some of our viewers. News 12 Connecticut's Frank Recchia joins us now from Milford with that story. Frank?
Roxanne, a heartbreaking situation here as a family plans a funeral for a newborn during the same month they welcomed him into the world.
You know, we experienced a terrible accident.
Family photos obtained by News 12 Connecticut show newborn Brayden Burwell in a blue bonnet, lying happily on a bed, being cradled by his 10-year-old brother Joe, who was said to be thrilled with a new addition to his family. But tragically, the family says Brayden would not live beyond his 17th day of life.
It's the hardest thing that we've ever had to walk through here. There really aren't any words to describe how we're all feeling.
In an emotional post, Brayden's uncle, Kevin Morse of Milford, telling of how he says the newborn died after an accident involving the family dog.
We got these two guys identified.
Morse, who's founder of the breaking news platform On Scene Media,
A lot of videos and pictures and lives.
And who sat down with us today for an interview, says the accident happened at the family's home in the Naugatuck Gardens community last Friday. The family's not saying exactly what happened, but they say it was not an attack by the dog, but rather a tragic accident. They say the pet has since been put down.
In this video, we are going to attempt to identify
Morse, whose office is filled with awards he's gotten for his work in the community, says he's grateful to the Milford Police and Fire Departments and to healthcare workers at Bridgeport and Yale New Haven hospitals for trying to save the baby's life.
You know, thank you, you guys. We know that you did everything that you possibly could.
A GoFundMe set up to help the family as they deal with the devastating loss of a newborn.
The continued support from everybody has really been tremendous.
The funeral taking place at Cody White Funeral Home right here in Milford this Tuesday from 3 to 6. In Milford, Frank Recchia, News 12 Connecticut.
Hello, today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. I want to report today on a very tragic, sad, and disturbing dog attack with a fatality. It involves a 2-week-old baby. And, of course, the report, I am taking it from the website dogsbite.org, an excellent website I invite you to visit. To begin, on February 24th, 2024, an infant died last Friday, Milford, Connecticut. A newborn died after being bitten by a family dog, suffering a head injury. Despite the infant's family not releasing details of what happened, the family states it was not an attack by the dog, but rather a tragic accident. Brayden Burwell, 2 weeks old, died on February 16th. A local media outlet first reported the newborn's death on February 23rd. A GoFundMe organized for the infant's mother has raised over $17,000. The dog has since been euthanized, according to the family members. According to the mother's Facebook page, the family dog is Dakota, a male husky. They obtained the dog when he was a puppy.
And just like that, we have a new puppy, a 4-month-old purebred Siberian husky.
She posted on February 9th, 2019. The other dog on her page,
Tucker, crossed the Rainbow Bridge in 2021. To have to say goodbye for good to our fur baby was one of the hardest things I've had to do.
She posted on March 23rd, 2021.
Can't wait to build an even closer bond with Dakota.
According to the audio dispatch log files for the Milford Fire Department on broadcastify.com, responders were dispatched to a home in the 100 block of the Gresham Street at approximately 5:15 p.m.
Medic 3, we're diverting you to a different call. Gresham, 2 weeks old, bit by a dog, unsure if the child is conscious.
States the dispatcher.
2-week-old, bit by a dog, head injury.
She states a minute later. A responder then asks the dispatcher to
put a call into animal control, please.
The loss of an infant's life is a tragic accident. Brayden's death is also a fatal dog mauling. The husky pattern of biting a newborn on the head, often a sleeping newborn, has been documented for many years. Recent attacks include the death of a 4-day-old infant in Cave Springs, Arkansas, where the husky's tooth penetrated the baby's head, In 2019, a 2-year-old pet husky bit a 22-day-old baby on the head an undetermined number of times, killing the infant, our nonprofit wrote at that time. Breed-specific traits. In our multi-year report of dog bite fatalities published in May 2018, U.S. dog bite fatalities, breeds of dogs involved, age groups, and other factors over a 13-year period, 2005 to 2017, we pointed out a breed-specific trait pertaining to huskies. Of the 13 fatal attacks inflicted by huskies, 62%, 8 out of 13, were infants, less than 11 months old, and 92%, 12, were ages less than 5-year-old. The single adult death, a 22-year-old female victim, was a multi-breed attack involving a female husky and a male pit bull. Our research findings was also footnoted with the following. In comparison with the other top 6 killing dog breeds, only 15%, 3 out of 20, of German Shepherd victims were infants, less than 11 months old. 13%, 6 out of 45, of Rottweiler victims. 10%, 28 out of 284, of Pit Bull victims. 7%, 1 out of 15, of American Bulldog victims. 0% mixed breed victims, and 0% of Mastiff, Bull Mastiff victims were infants. Often, in the cases of husky-inflicted infant deaths, the baby is sleeping when the dog bites or punctures the infant's head. Are there new findings? Due to the COVID macro-level forces that have impacted our ability to track fatal dog maulings, we divided our tracking into 2 databases, pre-COVID 2005 to 2019 and post-COVID 2020 to present. For the purpose of reviewing husky fatalities, we joined the husky cases from both. Little has changed since our analysis in 2018, despite huskies being infrequently involved in fatal dog maulings in the US. They are still among the top killing dog breeds, and they still disproportionately attack infants. From 2005 to the present day, we've recorded approximately 745 dog bite fatalities. Huskies have been involved in 17 of these deaths. Of these victims, 65%, 11 of 17 were infants, less than 11 months old, and 88%, 15 were ages less than 5-year-old. In the 2 adult deaths, 22-year-old Rebecca Hardy was killed in a multi-breed attack involving a female husky and male pit bull. An 84-year-old Loretta Moore was killed in a multi-breed pack attack involving 2 huskies, 1 pit bull, and 2 dogs of known breeds. The 2 most recent wolf-dog hybrid attacks also involved biting an infant or newborn on the head. Last year, Leo Cattle, 3 months old, died after being carried around in a dog's mouth. The Shelby County coroner said the parents tried to get the baby away from the wolf dog, but it was too late. In 2018, Aurora Little, 8 days old, was killed by her family's wolf-dog hybrid while lying in a bassinet. She suffered very serious injuries to the upper body and the head, Sheriff Gary Parsons said. Of the 11 husky-inflicted infant deaths, 9 have information about the victim's surroundings. 7 deaths, 78%, involved the infant lying on a bassinet, baby carrier, crib, or inside a playpen at the time. 2 deaths, 22%, involved the baby resting in a bedroom. In one of those deaths, Olivia Rozek was lying on a bed in a bedroom next to her twin sister when the pet husky pulled her from the bed and mauled her. Rozek suffered puncture wounds to her head as well as crushing injuries from the dog's jaws. In the deaths of Brayden, the circumstances are unknown except that fire and EMS responded to a 2-week-old bit by a dog head injury. The idea of a husky being involved in an tragic accident with an infant, killing the infant without intentional teeth contact, sounds as likely as this 1978 husky-inflicted infant death. The director of an animal hospital speculated back then
the husky may have accidentally knocked over the crib and attacked the infant when the falling crib surprised her.
There is a update to the case from February 29, 2024.
The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner determined the infant died of a blunt impact injury to his head,
reports Milford Mirror.
The manner of death was accidental.
The Mirror also confirms our earlier reporting of data obtained from the audio dispatch log files of the Milford Fire Department.
Firefighters responded to a home after a 911 call reported a dog had bitten an infant. They found the incident as initially reported. The infant was taken to a hospital but did not survive.
1 week after the fatal mauling, the infant's uncle, Kevin Morse, was co-founder of Scene Media, New Haven County, a Facebook-based media outfit that posts footage of live streams of crimes and accidents, spoke to News 12, but would not share the circumstances of the attack. He stated,
"The incident was not an attack by the dog, but rather a tragic accident."
However, a bite to an infant's head and death by blunt impact injury to the head is typically caused by an aggressive dog bite. And for my commentary on this case where an infant lost his life to this so-called accident that is very suspiciously a dog attack. However, the family called it an accident, and to no surprise, I mean, if you are responsible for a child that just died under your care, a lot of people, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of people will exercise a phenomenon called self-preservation or protection of oneself. It is sad and it's quite dishonorable and cowardly, I would say, to engage in defensive behavior, defensive rhetoric after you commit a mistake, after your negligence causes someone's life, after your lack of care, lack of common sense, lack of attention cost someone's life. It is no surprise that many people want to shake any responsibility off, want to avoid any kind of consequences or accountability or punishment. But again, this is cowardly, this is disingenuous, this is dishonest, this is, again, dishonorable. And I feel nothing but sadness and pity for people that engage in a disingenuous behavior when they know in their heart of hearts that they were the ones responsible. I cannot say for sure what is it that occurred here. The accounts are presumably not recorded in any kind of device such as cameras, audio recorders, or any kind of witness accounts that is independent and unbiased. So it is very difficult, sometimes impossible, to find out what occurred exactly. But the facts that we know, that there was indeed injury to the baby's head from the dog, presumably deadly injuries from dog bites, and the fact that the EMS labeled it and called it and reported it as a dog attack. Those facts pretty much tell you, or at least indicate, what occurred. And a dog attack, I believe, is not an accident. A dog attack is something that was allowed to occur. The dog that engaged in the attack was allowed to come in contact with the child, with the newborn or the infant. And that is no accident. It was not an accident that an animal came in contact with a newborn, because it was not an accident that that newborn was left unattended while a dog was in the house. And an accident to me is if the child would fall by accident and by chance just landed on the dog's mouth, which is practically impossible. That would be considered an accident though. But when a dog mauls and attacks and bites a child until the child is no longer able to survive, then that is a dog mauling. To call it an accident is just a defensive and cowardly claim that anyone could make that could be responsible or is or was in the care of that child. People do make mistakes. I do recognize this. People do act irresponsibly many times, sometimes. Some people more than others. Many people are distracted beyond belief and forget, lose track, and outright just don't care many times. Some people have psychological, mental, physical problems. Some people have disabilities. Some people have trauma. Some people have all kinds of personal problems that could be factors in their mistakes, in their carelessness, in their negligence. But when these very people know these factors and know there's a problem and know themselves and allow themselves to be in a situation where they're taking care of a child while they know they have these other problems, including addictions, then it becomes an issue of negligence. And negligence should have consequences, so it doesn't happen again, not only for that individual, but others around them. That is how our society works. It may not be the optimal system, but it is a system that we think works. We need to hold people accountable. That's why there is a justice system. That's why there is a corrections system. That's why there is such thing as accountability and laws and regulations, so that people, when they behave in a harmful, criminal, or any way that is of wrongdoing, then there is a system that holds them to account. But we seem to forget about this accountability when it comes to parents and their children. Parents do make mistakes, do act in criminal manner, do have problems that put themselves and others around them in danger often. And there needs to be a third party that looks at that and corrects that even after something happens, especially after something harmful happens, so that, again, it doesn't happen to that individual or other people, so other people could learn, hopefully, from the situation. And I believe that's what occurred here. There was a series of mistakes or negligent behavior and other factors that came together, and the consequence was the loss of life of an innocent, tender, and very young human being, an infant in this case. This is among the most tragic dog attacks I have learned about, because it took the life of a very young infant, the youngest I have yet learned about. And I believe it was only a few weeks old. And these dogs, these huskies, and also the wolf hybrid dogs, are notorious, according to records, according to statistics, for attacking young infants. And yes, dogs have a behavior pattern depending on their breed. This is well documented. And these dogs seem to want to, or like, or be dispositioned to attack human infants. But again, dog owners are often in love with their animals and tend to be defensive as to the possible dangers of that animal, tend to trust that animal a bit too much, and tend to defend their decision to have that animal, even if all the data, all the facts, and the statistics go against their reasoning, which is not reasoning at all. It's just human feeling. It is just emotion that they display when they deny that animals could be dangerous, especially their animal. They may recognize that dogs can be dangerous, but never for a second do they think that it's their own animal that could be dangerous, regardless of the breed of dog. They may agree that pit bulls and other breeds of dogs are dangerous, but not their pit bull or other aggressive breed that they may have, because a lot of people, perhaps most, think that they are the most caring and the most loving dog owners, pet owners, and that cannot possibly be their pet that may lash out and go apeshit, go buck wild, and go on a rampage. In their mind, that is just impossible and out of the question, when in fact it happens all the time to all kinds of people with all kinds of dogs, especially breeds of dogs that are notorious to be aggressive and lethal, especially to children. But yet these people, you cannot even think about talking to them about their pet and how it could pose a danger to them and their family, and especially their kids. These people are almost as aggressive as their pets when it comes to the denialism and the level of arrogance and comfort with idiotic and nonsensical and irrational thinking and irrational ideas about aggressive, big, tooth-filled pets. Most of these people don't dare research data and statistics and information about these animals. And when they are confronted with information, perhaps by someone that cares about their safety and their family's safety, all they do is deny it and even aggressively attack with much hostility and anger. These people are mostly, and many of them, are just alarmed and outraged. Many of them are extremely insulted when you bring up the issue, as if you're telling them how to live, how to raise their kids, how to take care of their family. Many people get insulted when someone tries to tell them what they should and should not do and what they should and should not have, especially here in America. This is a place here where the so-called freedoms that people think they have has gotten into their heads and has been turned into this monster, and they think they can do whatever the hell they want to do, and no one could dare tell them or give them a little bit of advice on what they perceive as being risky and dangerous. People see this as a direct attack on their so-called freedoms to do whatever the hell stupid thing they want to do. Dangerous things that not only pose a danger to themselves, but others. I just seen, as I speak, as I record this, some idiot here parked near a gas station with a aggressive big dog loose roaming around his vehicle. I am now going to a job where I may be faced with a loose dog. It is a job in a place that I am returning to, that a lady had a big, large, aggressive looking pit bull breed of dog just nonchalantly walking around an office with many people walking around as well. This dog was just roaming around, and I was working, doing a job there, and I seen this dog just looking at me as if it was ready to attack. And luckily, I caught the attention of people around that were luckily around and said, "Whose dog is this? Is this dog friendly?" Because it looks, I didn't say this, it looked as if it was startled by my presence there, my smells, and it was overtly curious to the point where it looked as if it was about to charge. And luckily, the dog owner was told by someone else that
there's someone here that is usually not here, so please secure your dog.
And luckily, it appears that she did, and later apologized about having her dog scare me. That's how these people think, that you're scared, that you are a coward when you raise concern about a loose animal that may be exposed to people that it has never seen before, in an area that it is used to not seeing strangers and people of outside origin or other smells. Apparently, unbeknownst to them, that's how these dogs behave. If it smells unfamiliar, it is unfamiliar, and it is fair game. But these stupid dog owners think that you're scared just because you are raising concern about an animal that is loose and potentially, very likely, dangerous. And they know these animals are dangerous. That's why they get them. A lot of them get them because they are known to be dangerous. And they want it that way because they want to be, again, as I've said before, intimidating. They want to be tough looking. They want to be this aggressive, not to mess with person. That's how people think here, many of them here, especially in the backward and dumb southeast. And with that, I'll close this. That infant did not have to lose his or her life, and it is wholly the responsibility of those caring for that infant, whoever that was, whether it was the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, nephews, siblings. It doesn't matter. They were responsible, especially if there were adults taking care of the infant, or were supposed to be taking care of the infant, which clearly wasn't the case. And not to personally attack anyone, but responsibility must be put in its place, whether it happens to anyone, whether it be myself or anyone else. Responsibility must always be put in its rightful and just place. And this is done for the benefit of society as a whole. And if we cannot accept that, then we must accept that we don't live in a just, lawful, peaceful, and safe to live in society. Otherwise, we would live in the jungle, ready to get eaten by any kind of beast at any moment. So we must make that choice. Do you want to live in the jungle, or do you want to live in modern society with some sort of organized civilization? And as a final comment, why euthanize the dog if the dog had nothing to do with the death of the child, and if it was a mere and innocent accident? Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please look for the next episode soon, and please ensure to share this with your friends and family. And please like this content and subscribe.
as a sign of support and for me to continue to provide this type of content to more people like you. Lastly, if you wish to support this content further, please visit the links provided in this publication. Thank you.